Ahsoka episode 4 is out and has been out. This is my very late reaction to it. I've been quite busy, but better late than never. Let's hop right into it. I don't want to waste your guys' time. So at the beginning of the episode, we pick up where we left off at the end of episode 3. Ahsoka and Sabine have landed on this planet and are taking refuge in the forest. Again, I just love this planet. I can never remember the name, please excuse me, but just the red trees, the fog, the simplicity of it, just how they shoot it, it looks beautiful. It's very ominous, but it has this nice sense of closure and positivity to it at the same time. Definitely one of the nicer planets we've seen in recent Star Wars history. So Ahsoka and Sabine are chilling on the ship, just making sure everything's good, laying low, when Hu Yang goes out and works on some repairs. Ahsoka and Sabine are ready to travel to the takeoff point where they believe Baylan is, where Shin is, where all this is about to take place. And if you actually go back and watch my episode 3 review, I predicted exactly what was going to happen in episode 4. Not down to the T, but I knew that this was going to turn into some collision of all the characters, multiple battles. They're all going to meet at this spot where they're attempting to take off to the new beyond. And that is exactly what happened, and I couldn't be happier with how it played out. Stay tuned to hear my thoughts on the final battles. While Hu Yang is making repairs, Hera is still pleading to the New Republic on how they need support, but they are not hearing it. They need support from the New Republic, but Mon Mothma is not hearing it. She has her doubts. I still think she could turn and realize something. It just needs to happen. There needs to be a moment where she sees something and realizes that this is real, and hopefully they get some New Republic support. Now back to Hu Yang, Ahsoka, Sabine, and the ship. They are attacked by Elsbeth's, Shin's, and Baylan's goons. This results in a brawl between Hu Yang and them, which is actually cool to see. It's been a while since I've seen Rebels, so even Clone Wars at that. So it was cool to see Hu Yang in action. I kind of forget that he was such a BA droid. He has a lot of experience under his belt, training Jedi and fighting for himself. So seeing him go tit for tat with these droids was funny, but also really entertaining to watch. Very well shot and kept me on the edge of my seat. I really didn't think anything was going to happen to Hu Yang, but there was a point where I was worrying for him, which is good. You should be worried about these alien robot creatures, not just the human-like ones. And that's what Star Wars is and what makes it great. Now, these goons are defeated, and Baylan and Shin are still standing there, confused as to where Ahsoka and Sabine are. The Jedi, where are they at? So he sends Shin out to do her business. Baylan also sends the Inquisitor out with them, and this results in an epic duel in the forest between the two of them, a double duel. It was really cool to watch. It was chopped up with other parts of the story, but not in a distasteful way. It kept you wanting to come back to that scene, and honestly, the choreography of this fight was great. I think the choreography of these lightsaber duels keeps getting better with each episode. So we see Ahsoka fighting the Inquisitor and Sabine fighting Shin, and lo and behold, no Star Killer, no crazy theories came to light, which again, like I said in recent and past videos, I wasn't going to be disappointed if it wasn't him. I knew it was a stretch. It turns out that he was just a puff of smoke, which I can only assume was Night Sister magic made by Mary Elsbeth, which honestly I thought was pretty cool. I'm not disappointed in the slightest. Yes, would it have been cool to see Starkiller? Yeah, of course. You don't have to lie. But the fact that they created an Inquisitor, put him in armor, and had him fighting in such a grotesque way, all while he was just an illusion, is crazy to think about and kind of shows us the power of the Night Sister magic, and maybe we'll get more to come. That's just got to be the start of it. Who knows what other magic she'll conjure up and what else we'll see in the last few episodes of this series. So Ahsoka defeats the Smoke Inquisitor while Sabine is still going at it with Shin. Now, I gotta give Sabine props for this. She is really going neck to neck with Shin. Sure, she is kind of taking the rough end of it. She's getting beat up, but she's holding in there, and she's not relying on the Force. She tries, but as we see, she actually uses her Mandalorian wrist rocket, as we see in the Mandalorian series with Din Djarin. I thought this was awesome because, again, as I said in the last video, please go check it out if you haven't already. is that I don't want her to just gain the Force. I want her to work for it if she gets it at all. And this was a great scene because she holds her hand out and you think she's going to use the Force. You know it's going to happen, especially with how Star Wars has been going. You know she's going to use the Force somehow. Shin says, you have no power. And she admits it. She's like, nope, I don't have power. Boom, Mandalorian wrist rocket. Amazing. That's how it should be done. Who knows if she tried for the Force, if that was even her intention. Let's say she did. She realized she couldn't do it and she went to her backup. She went to what she knows, her Mandalorian ways, which was awesome to see. I really liked this scene. And this, of course, ends in sort of a stalemate between Shin and Sabine. Shin kind of tells her off and runs away, and they all end up meeting at the site where everybody's at. Also, I'm going to interject. Hera does not get the New Republic support, surprise, surprise, so she takes Chopper and her son Jason out in the Ghost, and they are going to go do this themselves. Once a rebel, always a rebel. I love that part. They are going to go on their own mission to save their friends. I like this. Who knows where it'll take them, but at least they're going to get to the planet. Let's hope. And who knows where it will go from there. I guess we'll have to see in next week's episode. Now we are at the site. This machine, this magic is getting powered up. This map is finally all falling into place. Elsbeth is up in her crazy ship getting this hyperdrive ready to shoot off into the new beyond. When chaos just ensues. Ahsoka obviously makes it there before Sabine. She finished her duel before her, so Sabine is still catching up. Ahsoka arrives, gets in this kind of weird stalemate standoff, walking around Baylan just talking, and he drops some really nice tidbits, talking about how he knew Anakin, how everybody knew Anakin in his story, but nobody really saw who he became, which, of course, if you didn't know, is Darth Vader. He's just a mass of destruction and chaos and sadness. And he even mentions this in the duel with Ahsoka. Spoiler alert, they duel. During their duel, he says, your legacy is something of your masters, of death and destruction. Which, what does he really mean by this? Does he mean he's going to bring death to his friends, death to the galaxy? Who knows? He could just be one-sided. I'm not sure exactly what he's referencing, but still, it was a cold, hard line, and it sparked Ahsoka to fight even harder. Again, this duel was very nice, not very high-paced like the last one we saw, but it was almost standoffish. It brings in that samurai vibe that Dave Filoni was talking about, and it felt very nice. They were taking their time with their strikes. Baylan has a very clunky defensive way of fighting with his lightsaber, and it's a fresh new form that I haven't really seen, so that was cool to watch how Ahsoka combated against that. Now, unfortunately, this ends in the maybe not death of Ahsoka. She grabs the map, burns herself, which I think is going to be how she knows how to get to the new beyond in the next episode. I guess we'll see. And she's weak. She's trying to use the Force with her burnt hand to push his lightsaber back, but Baylan gets her to the edge. Looks like he gets her with a nice chest hit, and she falls off this thing. And this is right about when Sabine shows up. She yells no. She is distraught that she probably thinks her friend just died. Then she doesn't even bother trying to fight Baylan. She just saw what happened, and Baylan actually convinces her to do it for Ezra, hand the map over. She doesn't destroy it as Ahsoka told her to, which was crazy. This was also filmed very well. I didn't know exactly where this was going. I thought, no way, Sabine will definitely stay loyal to Ahsoka. She would never do this. But then on the other hand, the more I waited, the more I saw her face, I was thinking, wow, she might actually do this. And lo and behold, she did. She hands the map over to Baylan and shoots off with them into hyperspace. I mean, this makes sense if we're being honest. It makes a lot of sense that we need the character of Sabine to go into the new beyond and see Ezra face to face and see what's been happening with him. But still, I didn't think she would cross Ahsoka like that. She could have destroyed it, but she knew it was her way to get to Ezra. And it makes a lot of sense. This is what had to happen. So now we cut to everyone up in this ship, this crazy hyperspace ring, and the takeoff is insane. We have the New Republic X-Wing starfighters pull up, and Elsbeth doesn't even tell her people to engage. She just says, power up the hyperdrive, and boom, they shoot into hyperdrive and cause a crackle, cause a almost Fortnite-like rift in the sky. It's such a powerful hyperdrive shoot off. It was amazing to see. It was cool to see a new take on something that's so iconic with the Star Wars brand. The hyperspace drive, you see it in a more intense fashion because they have so much power behind this thing. It even sends a shock back and fries a lot of these X-Wing fighters, and they are in shock. This X-Wing fighter that's seen so much stuff is in total disbelief. And now this leaves Hera questioning what to do. We get the famous line from Jason, "I don't have a good feeling about this." And we can only assume they're going to touch back down on the planet and figure out where to go from here. Now we cut to this beautiful pan over the water and the waves. Zooms in on Ahsoka's lifeless, almost asleep body and face as she just merges into this world, which is the world between worlds. Let me just say, it looks brilliant. Looks absolutely beautiful in live action. You see all the walkways, all the different corridors, and the kind of multiversal TVA starry lines of the timeline. It looks really nice. I mean, this is just surface level, us seeing it, but I'm sure there's going to be more detail throughout, like the writings and the portals, etc., as we travel more through it, maybe in the next episode or the end of the series. And I probably wouldn't have caught this if I didn't watch things with subtitles, but we hear a muffled voice saying, "Hey, Snips." Ahsoka says Anakin, turns around, and it's Hayden freaking Christensen. Anakin Skywalker de-aged in the flesh. What a beautiful sight. I broke down in tears and had to rewind this part because it was so nice seeing him done right in live action again. And coming face to face with Ahsoka, this is the first time we've seen this. I would have never expected this in a million years, and it fulfilled one of my wishes as a fan. I couldn't be happier, and I'm very excited to see where this goes next episode. I can only assume Anakin is going to take Ahsoka to the world between worlds, show her some possibilities of the Star Wars timeline. Who knows what will happen? There's a lot of things. There's infinite possibilities in the world between worlds in which we will see in next episode. And we end this episode with Ahsoka, a big, almost scary grin on her face when she sees Anakin, and she says his name, and that's where the episode cuts. It was cool seeing Hayden Christensen's name in the credits, and Hayden Christensen before the long credits roll. Oh, man, I really enjoyed this episode quite a lot. From all the duels to the fast-pacedness to this kind of rat race to the finish line like I thought was going to happen. It was really fun watch. These episodes are paced so well. Like, by the time I started and 5 minutes have passed, it's almost over. Like, I just want more at the end of each of these episodes. I'm glad we're kind of out of that episode 1 and 2 lull, and we have a lot to look forward to. Those are my thoughts on this episode. I'm really looking forward to next week. Please tell me your thoughts on this episode in the comments, and drop some predictions for episode 5. What are we going to see in the world between worlds? Are Anakin and Ahsoka going to duel? What are we going to see? And please, if you know any leaks or spoilers, please try your best to keep them out of the comments. I'm trying to create a leak-free, spoiler-free community and go into these episodes and movies, anything else Star Wars related, with a fresh mindset. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe for more Star Wars news and content, and drop a like on the video while you're at it. I appreciate you watching this video, and please, try to have a great day.